welcome back to the WGL APAC Season 2. My name is Rogi. Joining me, of course, is Alex. Or rather, I'm joining you this time around.
Exactly, that's
We're doing
right.
the old switcheroo here. But if you guys are just joining us, we saw an epic game. Well, epic for one of the teams. Team Efficiency taking out B Gaming in a very dominating 5-1 fashion. It really seems that the reign that B Gaming had all through Season 1 may be coming to an abrupt end.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, Rogi, Season 1, they were one of the strongest teams in the competition. I mean, they made it all the way to our Season 1 finals. They played up against EL Gaming in the grand final, you know, and they gave EL Gaming a fight. They were the only team last season that could do it, but so far this season, they have really dropped off, losing 4 games so far, and they need to get their act together, I think, to be a contender.
Yeah, I feel like that last game on Cliffs just really showcased what went wrong. They had about, I think it was a 6v3. They had the tank advantage, the HP pool advantage. They just kind of went in one-on-one trying to do that hero-style play, and it all just came crumbling down. So I really feel like that's what's highlighting the issues that B Gaming are facing right now, and hopefully in the coming weeks they are able to patch a few of them.
Well, hopefully, I guess. But, well, we'll have to wait and see whether that will be the case, of course. Now, though, it is time to focus, I think, a little bit on our next game of the night, which should be an interesting one. Now, it is EL Gaming in the Coalition Zoo. On paper, it's not a game that is going to be very close, but I actually think, after seeing TCZ play last week, I actually think their play style might be able to, you know, potentially give EL a rough run in a few maps. So I think this one could be closer than a 5-0.
Well, let's hope so for the Coalition Zoo's sake, because yesterday they also showed some inabilities to really push it over that mark, because unfortunately for them, they had a few struggles on Himmelsdorf, chucking that triple E100 down and really struggling a lot on those maps. But we do have the lineup ready for you guys on the side of EL Gaming. And if you guys aren't familiar with these names by now, you've been missing out on a lot of tank action.
Absolutely. EL Gaming, of course, the Chinese powerhouse here in the APAC region. A 100% attack win rate, 86% defense win rate. They've only lost one.
Yeah.
I do believe that one was on, I think it was Prokhorovka defense last week. But overall, they are an amazing team to watch, and this season they've really changed up their play style a little bit. They've added Principal into their roster, but I feel as though they play things a little bit slower this season.
And you're right, the longer the season goes on, the more impressive that win ratio goes. But let's have a look at the other side of the table, the Coalition Zoo here. Now, they've been struggling. They've been out of the gate not so strong. We saw some signs of greatness yesterday in a few of their games, but also what's really been inhibiting them. So, coming into this game, they're really going to have to show something new.
Yeah, well, you're right. Coalition Zoo here, they've come close in a few battles, and they do, in my opinion, look quite a bit better than they did last season. And of course, like some of their changes, adding Lion, I really think Lion is going to be a top player for them this season, as long as he can continue his form that he showed last week. And the issue for them last week, and later on, earlier on this week, yesterday, was that they didn't have Madhouse. And I think the Sunday last week, and I believe yesterday either, because last week he ended up getting a little bit sick or whatever, and yesterday, I'm not sure if he's still sick, probably something like that. But Madhouse, he's the main man on TCC.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, he's the one that makes up the strats. He's the one that, you know, guides them in the battle. He's a traffic controller, as we know. So lacking him, I really think hurt them. If they can get Madhouse back into playing, then I reckon EL are in for a tough match.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things that you can't really experience in a game like Tanks that has one of the highest player participants I've seen, 7 versus 7s. There's just so much going on. When you're really missing that, like you said, flight control, essentially, traffic control rather, where he's dictating the map, controlling all these people at once. When you're missing that crucial voice, a lot of the communications can go awry.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like we said, definitely saw that last week. But at the end of the day, TCZ, they've got a lot of sub players as well, so they do still have to, I guess, you know, try and adapt even without Madhouse. And you know, they've played under him for so long. You know, they've got to have a few strats up their sleeve. I just hope that this time, if we do see Himmelsdorf from them today, they don't pick E100s.
At least not 3 of them.
At least not 3 of them. One of them, I mean, yeah, one of them maybe. But anyways, what are we going to be seeing? We are going to be seeing Himmelsdorf
straight up. following that would be Mines and Ghost Town with Prohorovka and Cliff to round us out for the day. But let's take a step back, have a look at that Himmelsdorf, because I really do want to touch on Coalition Zoo. We saw what they did yesterday. It didn't work by any stretch of the imagination. So hopefully, it's only been one day, but hopefully this has been enough time for them to, watch the VODs, have a real think about what went wrong, what they can do right next time. And they got to see how EL Gaming yesterday played their Himmelsdorfs as well. So they've got a little bit of insight onto maybe how coming into this game, they should adapt.
Yep, hopefully they have taken that away from yesterday. I'm thinking, while we've got these two teams up against each other here, Rogi, what is your prediction for this one?
See, I'm giving it the 5-1 to EL Gaming. I feel like betting against EL Gaming is just ridiculous, and I feel like Coalition Zoo, I reckon if they do something cheesy, maybe they can eke out one win, but it's not enough to take it any further than that, I'm afraid.
Okay, well, look, I think that's probably a smart bet.
You've gone bold, though.
I've gone a little bit more bold than that. That's right. Look, I think TCZ, last season B Gaming was EL Gaming's kryptonite. I think maybe this season TCZ can be
pink
EL
and yellow
Gaming's kryptonite. So I'm going to be calling 5-3. I think TCZ are really going to put EL in for a rough ride if Madhouse is playing with them. If Madhouse isn't in, then 5-1, 5-0. Exactly. And I know that Jordan,
Mr.
the man,
No Fun Elfish.
Yeah, Mr. No Fun Elfish, the man of little faith, has gone for a 5-0 in favour of EL.
He's the
Gaming.
realist. He said he likes taking on that role, so let's see if we can be a little bit more keep the spirits high tonight.
Exactly. I'm hoping so. So if TCZ, honestly, even if they pull off 2 wins, I'm going to be
It's
happy.
impressive.
Yeah, exactly. Against EL Gaming, where I think B Gaming lost to them 5-1. I think they 5-0'd their match yesterday. They're just looking so strong. So as long as TCZ can get a couple, I think they should walk away from it happy.
Well, let's say we get into the games and TCZ are able to pull a few rounds out. How they're going to be doing it, do you think, Alex?
Well, that's an interesting one. I don't think they're going to be doing it on Himmelsdorf because they just haven't had haven't had really new strats on Himmels. I really like TCZ's new Prokhorovka play that they do with the S-Tank, the STRV. That worked really well when we saw it. And I suppose other maps with that S-Tank, because they've been one of the teams bold enough to pick it this season, and it does seem to work well for them. So, maybe they've picked Ghost Town. They could put an Oods up on the cliff on Ghost Town.
We saw EL doing that yesterday.
Exactly. That might work out well for them. But first up, they've got to conquer Himmelsdorf, which I think they are a little bit stuck in their old ways. Let's see, though, what TCZ have decided to pick here for brawling it out on the close quarters city maps. I'm hoping, Rogi, it's not 3 E100s.
Oh, let's hold our breath here, and
there we go.
It's paying off. They've done their research. It is on defense. Remember, the time they did run the E100s was on offense, so we're not out of the woods just yet, Alex. So no E100s is a good sign. It's a good sign.
I actually love this lineup from TCZ because if we remember last week in the Himmelsdorf matches where they look really strong, they picked 2 T95s.
Yep.
I do really like that single T95 pick. They've gone with the Batchat AP for their other Tier 9. Both sides going with that FE4005, the big British Tier 10 TD. I really, really like this, and they haven't gone with a Kranwagen. I don't think Kranwagen offers much on Himmelsdorf, to be perfectly honest, so I think this is definitely doable for TCZ to take it out.
They've done their draft well. Let's just hope they can do the next part of it, and that's playing the actual game, hitting your shots, making sure you're watching the correct corridors, and already we see Black up on that vantage point, hasn't spotted anyone just yet. I always hold my breath. I know you can't drive through the crack, but it's always
it's always scary.
It plays a little bit of tricky. It's like, ooh, be careful. But they know what they're doing more than we do.
Yep, that is correct, and good to see some early spots coming out from Lion, and this is what Lion is really good at on TCZ, and he's shown so far this season, getting some really good aggressive early scouts and staying safe while he does it. He's in a bad chat, he's in that tier 10 tank, he's not in the AP or any tier 8 light tank, so him doing this and getting this early scout, obviously EL Gaming probably not expecting a tier 10 bat chat to be popping down there so early, so good little job from Lion, and a good little bit of map vision he's gained.
Definitely the player to watch this series especially. It's up to him to really lead the team through against EL. So hopefully he can continue to be that aggressive whilst also being smart about it, because that's what they needed. We saw Coalition Zoo, what they suffered from last time on Himmersdorf on defense was not knowing where the threat was coming from, and by the time they found out where everyone was, it's just too late. You could hear it in their comms. They were saying, all right, they're here, they're here, they're here. Yep. I think we're donezo, mate.
Yeah, exactly. And in the meantime, Pac-Mania said, ooh, very
He's
close.
fast on that bat shot.
Yep. Line. Oh no, don't repeat it, Line.
He's being cheeky.
Yeah, very cheeky. But Pac-Mania's there in that T95. We did just see him try and get a shot towards, I think it might have been Principal potentially, but missing that one. In the meantime, the rest of EL, again, this is a very slow start for EL. Not the start that we're used to seeing from them on Hillsdorf, but taking it a little bit more cautiously, just getting a few more spots happening, and I think that's a smart move, because when you're facing off against tanks like the FE4005 that can deal 1,800, almost 2,000 damage in one shot, you got to be careful.
Right, he might be in a little bit of trouble here. Roby1 forced it back on out. Keep in mind, Madhouse is playing as well. We mentioned if he's playing, they got a good shot, so feel like that's worth a note here. Quiet's going to be moving up with a little bit of back off. Roby1 forced all the way back to the tracks here. Where are EL going to strike? They're biding their time, like you said, a very slow start for them, especially on Himmels.
Yeah, for sure. And look, right now, Roby's got to be pretty happy with that little trade he got with Quiet, because Quiet, obviously, he's going to have to reload that clip now. And the Batchat AP has about 6 or 7 shells in the clip. So, going to be having a little bit more of a buffer there, but in the meantime, there's 2 FE215Bs for the Coalition Zoo. They're sitting all the way out the back here, and of course, the FE215B, very solid tank for brawling. That British Tier 10 Heavy's got an excellent gun, great accuracy, and interesting to see Pac-Mania already taking a little bit of damage in that T95. Hasn't responded so well, though.
Yeah, both Principal and Hardliner seem to be in a great spot to get those shells down should Pac-Manius feel a little bit overzealous, try to go for something he's not entitled to here, but still, we see EL buying their time, 6 minutes 20 left on the clock here, so they've chewed through about 4 so far. Like, will they want to make their mark around that 2 cap? As you can see, Principal and Hardliner moving up on Pac-Manius. He might be in a little bit of trouble here if the rest of Coalition Zoo aren't in position.
Potentially, I wonder, because Joke will be able to support him fairly soon, but the issue for Pac-Manius is he just needs to make sure that he can, keep his front towards Principal and Hardliner. Yeah. Look, we saw that TCZ last time when people pushed into their T95s, that's exactly what they wanted. But this time, maybe not so much.
That's just popping off right now, looking for something. Not going to find any, though. Going to be on the long reload timer now.
Yep, 23 seconds in that AMX50B, and EL, still they haven't actually gained that much map vision. They haven't spotted out too many of the TCZ guys. So, whilst obviously they've got a pretty good inkling of where TCZ are hiding, they would like to have a little bit more info before they make this push. And I think TCZ have been doing a really good job of, putting the pressure on, making sure that EL can't get any free scouts around the map. Always trading with them when they're trying to do that. As long as Pac-Manius can keep on actually trading effectively in that T95 and not just getting damage. Yeah, exactly. Then TCZ not in a bad spot.
Be Quiet and Guan Ren going for that rotate, so the play may be put into effect to go for that 2 cap. Like you said, the onus is on Pac-Manius right now. He has to come up huge, start hitting some of those big shells and stop taking the free damage in return. Nice. Should be off the reload now. Where do they want to go? Quiet's done that full rotation over to Hardliner and Principal. They could be going for a 3-pronged attack here.
Yeah, potentially it's looking like it. They still do have 2 tanks up on the hill, EL. One of them is nice in the AMX50B. Just looking like they're getting ready for a push here. Quiet and Hardliner in the AMX50B in 113. But look, TCZ are ready. They've got their FE215B there. Quiet, going to push in.
Well, let's have a quick listen in to see how Coalition Zoo are going to mount this defense.
Do you want Nomads to come
FE
back?
as well.
Joke to AP to flex with me, and we'll go like G line.
Do you want to come with you?
No, he's
right now
there to kill the 50B.
He's clipped out. Oh man.
That's the 405.
Lion, want me to move up?
I can maybe splash kill the 50B.
Can Lion and Roby see anything down the G line? Is there anything there?
Number 3 maybe.
You
Okay,
could
we'll
try
go
to
back to the window.
spot through this building and see down here.
Go back to the window too.
Oh no.
What the?
Lit.
Oh, and 2 kills going over to EL Gaming with Coalition Zoo not able to answer with anything. Great job by Quiet, just getting around the side of Pac-Manius, forcing him to that very long rotate around and couldn't get off a second shot in time. Quiet, definitely MVPing that one.
Yep, big play there from Quiet, showing everyone how to deal with a T95 in that situation. Unfortunately, TCZ, they just needed another support tank at the back there to, help out Pac-Manius, maybe get a track onto Quiet as he was trying to come around him, but not to be the case. And in the meantime, EL Gaming looking pretty strong. But in saying that, Rogi, there's 2 minutes and 40 seconds left, so
That's
EL, they do have to make something work, and TCZ, they've got Quiet fairly low, so it's still going to be a tough one for EL. They need to close it fast.
Yeah, they know that the 2-push is coming on right now. You can see Lion and Nomad absolutely booking it back there to make sure that the defense is there. Look at that, 3 members strong from EL Gaming coming around to the side. Joke is just going to get destroyed in the firing line. He has no chance of getting out of this one. His one goal now to buy as much time as possible. Nice and Black are in the hill. 50 seconds for the cap to go through. Can anyone in Coalition Zoo get the resets? It's not looking likely.
Oh, there we go. 1651 damage there from Mr. Madhouse.
Is it enough though, Alex?
Oh, I'm not sure that it is. 2 minutes left, Rogi. That's the issue for TCZ. They haven't taken any tanks down. They need to get these tanks down. But with EL taking down another one of their members, Madhouse going to be on the reload for another few seconds.
Huge shot from Guan Ren. Finally takes out Lion. He has no chance of getting any of the resets here with 25 seconds on the hill. Only 3 tanks left alive. Madhouse may get one more shot off before it's good night for himself. Nomad is going down. Madhouse, huge shot, just takes out Nice with another whopper here. But I think it's too little too late. Nomad goes down now. Madhouse last left alive. This should be clean sweep for EL Gaming, taking out the first map. Round of the first map.
Yeah, there we go. So EL off to a very solid start against TCZ. And I mean, look, TCZ right from the moment where they lost that T95 early on to Quiet's AMX50B, I think that was a really big mistake because Quiet should have paid for that a lot more. And I think TCC, they just didn't expect him to go in that fast. And as soon as he did, Quiet instantly died. And it's like, well, okay, I'll see you later, Tier 9 that was set to guard that line and prevent that exact thing from happening.
That's just one of the strengths that EL Gaming have shown us time and time again. They're able to discover these weaknesses that you think you've got covered. And like you said, they've put that tank there to completely block off any chance of that exact thing happening. And what do EL do? They run Quiet straight down the line, get behind, make him do that really long rotate. Free kill for him, and he survives as well. Like, I'm sure in his mind, he's expecting to trade the 1-for-1 to open up so much more of their map, and he survives. So that's just a blunder on Coalition's part.
Exactly, you're right. It was just a blunder, and I felt as though as well they were a little bit too tentative after that fact when EL did push in. We saw lots of the TCZ guys waiting, letting that 113 that was on the flag for TCZ, defending it up, just take free shots, and that's a situation when EL's tanks are focus firing that 113. A tank can't fire at 2 positions at once. It can't have its turret in 2 angles. So that's when I think TCZ could have moved in, been a little bit more aggressive in that fight, and maybe tried to even it out and take out some tanks because, they needed to.
Like a great win to start things off for EL Gaming. And Coalition Zoo, we're going to get a look at just kind of what happened in this fight, and you can see Quiet just using his speed and maneuverability to completely outplay Pac-Manius, using the terrain to his advantage as well. Time and time again, EL Gaming just seemed to make something out of nothing.
Yeah, there we go. So EL Gaming, they did take a big shot there from Madhouse, but at the end of the day, Madhouse needed to do a little bit more than that. And I mean, he did take out Nice there, so that was about 800 or 900 or so damage after the fact. But I mean, Guan Ren really showing how to play the FV4005 with 4.1 thousand damage in that one. And
great stuff.
Like, that tank, the FV4005 so far this season, Max, it's got a 100% win rate. Obviously, this is going to shift it up a little bit, but I mean, even Madhouse on the losing team there, he did
Yeah.
a lot of work.
Got 2 kills straight off the bat. You saw one of those massive 1600 damage shots to really kind of swing things back into the balance. But EL Game, they always just seem to inch out tiny little advantages that snowball into an avalanche. So hopefully coming into the next game on attack, like we said, there's the potential for the triple E100s here. May not see it though, as we mentioned at the start of the game. Coalition, very rounded setup.
I hope they don't do the E100s. Exactly, but I mean, who knows? Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But overall, I would have liked to have seen a closer first match than that. I think Coalition, they had the right tanks to do it. There was just a little bit of lack of positioning early on to help out that T95 that let EL have an in, and at the end of the day, that was it for them, I think. So EL here, they've been always traditionally extremely strong on Himmelsdorf. In Season 1, it was one of their best maps statistically, even though it might not be a map that you necessarily think of when you think EL. You know, you think, oh yeah, fast, light tanks, medium tanks, rushes, that sort of thing, but they are extremely good at Himmelsdorf, like we've just seen there. And I think this second half, now that TCZ are attacking, pushing into EL, might be a little bit harder for them.
I think one of the good things to take away from that game, focusing back on the Coalition Zoo here, is if we look back to their defense on Himmelsdorf yesterday, where they were completely just refined and boxed into their corner of the map, they did a much more fanned out position and held EL at bay for quite some time before Quiet did make the play here. So they are showing signs of improvement, especially with Roby and Madhouse back on the team. I've got a little bit of faith in their attack that they may be able to mix things up and catch EL off guard.
Yeah, well, hopefully, I'm definitely hoping for that, TCZ. I mean, it would be good to see them pick up this sort of a little win early on in this series against EL. I think it might give them a little bit of confidence, show them, okay, yes, we can do it. You know, we can, beat EL on Himmelsdorf, which is a feat that not many teams can actually say that they've done in the WGL APAC season. Certainly not this season. Certainly not many last season either that managed to kind of best them at that. Like we saw this season, they're on 100% win rate on their attack, which is...
That's a scary number, and if they keep it up, it's just going to be more and more impressive time goes by. And the question really is, Jordan and I said it quite a few times yesterday, is there anyone that can actually take it to this EL Gaming squad? Because right now, they're looking too good to be true.
Well, yeah, that's the danger for them, and that's the danger every time we see EL Gaming play. And last season we did have a few kind of glimmers of hope with B Gaming, but now I'll tell you what, B Gaming aren't going to hold a candle to EL. So after seeing how they've been playing,
I was hoping it was just week 1 jitters coming into today as well, and
it's rough.
Giving us a rough game.
It's very, very rough. But look, here, this is TCZ's time to shine. So let's take a look at their tank lineups to see if they will be shining here in the second half against EL.
Alrighty.
Okay.
No E100s as far as the eye can see.
Oh, but...
Real for both teams.
Yeah, both teams locking in that group line. Interesting picks here on Himmelsdorf, rather than something like the FV4005, which actually would have done really well against the grill. Would have gone straight through. It would have been able to one-shot the grill if it got it in its sights. But instead, we are going to be seeing those Tier 10 German tank destroyers. Tier 9s on the side of TCZ. EL Gaming going to be going for that light scout, the RU251, that they value a little bit more. TCZ, again, going with a bit of a kind of faster lineup, so that to me, maybe might be seeing a banana push with that, with the 113s and the AMX 50Bs.
The time will tell as we're getting into game number 2. EL Gaming taking the first round out quite convincingly, but Coalition Zoo, they have the opportunity to bite back here in a completely different lineup of tanks than we saw yesterday, so hopefully that variance that we said they were lacking oh so much may finally be a reality.
Hopefully, but there we go, some early shots coming in, and well, it's going to be the first one to Guan Ren for EL.
Just that EL Gaming accuracy, you can never underestimate it.
I love that, the EL Gaming accuracy. It sounds like some sort of like perk or special ability.
It's just, they play better, they're just better tankers than the rest of us.
Yeah. That's right, and oh no, I'm looking in the banana, and someone is about to go down on TCZ. It's the T10, and just like that, EL already off to a blinding start, taking down one member.
Yeah, that felt very disjointed from the Coalition Zoo. What was he even doing there? The other members were going for some fights against Black and Nice, and then Guan Ren was just hitting shots and against Lion, they were both trading blow for blow, but like we said, that EL Gaming accuracy was just coming in in droves.
Yeah, and it's great to see Black playing such an aggressive scouting role in the RE251. He was able to get that proxy spot. He did come in behind, and you know the RE251 could put some serious damage out, particularly to a T10, which you know it's not a tier 10. The AMX50B is able to go through it with ease.
Yeah.
So TCZ just like that, they're at a 2,000 hit point disadvantage coming into the 2-minute stage of the game.
Yeah, Roby comes out for some shots, not going to happen, but here comes the Grill in the back, a huge shot onto Joke. He's going to be getting lower and lower. There's nowhere really for him to retreat. Now Pac-Manius in the firing line, trades a good shot onto Quiet. Well, Madhouse as well, doing some damage from the top.
Yeah, good little shot there from Madhouse, but overall EL here, they are pulling the trigger, Rogi, and I don't think this fight's going to last much longer.
Yeah, this is just the EL Gaming that we know and love. Balls to the walls, all of them just charging straight down the line, getting the shots, getting the kills, and frankly getting the round, it seems here. Madhouse, all he can do with that extra long scope is watch his team fall. As look at FoxCS in that grill. Have you ever seen a player play that aggressive in a grill?
No, FoxCS, look, he just wants to get in there. He wants to make sure his stats are looking good at the end of the battle. And
he's a warrior, I'm telling you.
Yep, exactly. And look, Madhouse, I'm sure he's doing a good little job at traffic conducting up the top of the hill there in his grill.
He got a kill. Oh, the grill battle. FoxCS goes
battle.
down. So we know who the better sniper is this time around, but unfortunately, that accolade only gets you so far.
Oh, and Madhouse is now just about to run into Guan Ren. He's like, oh, uh-oh.
He's not long for this world. Guan Ren should have no difficulty taking him out, but another very swift round for EL Gaming, only netting about 2.5 minutes of playtime. What can you say?
There's
EL
not
Gaming?
much to say, exactly. EL Gaming, look, they capitalised on that first mistake from the T10 of TCZ. After that, it was all downhill from there. You know, TCZ, they just weren't in the right spot. They weren't clumped up together. EL were able to push right on towards them. You know, and they just did an old Season 1 EL push. And it was the right time to do it because they had the advantage. They knew that TCZ were a little bit spread out. And they knew that maybe the grill on the hill couldn't provide the most firepower to back them up. And at the end of it, that was it. So TCZ, they've got to put Himmelsdorf behind them then because EL just looked way too strong there. And I think it's just time to focus on some different maps.
There are two things that stood out to me in that game especially, and it's the initial fight where Guan Ren and Lion are just trading shots, and Guan Ren comes out of it out unscathed. Lion comes out at half hit points. That really tells a tale of just what people feel like when they're going up against EL Gaming. And then the next thing is you're looking at FoxCS in the grill. He's up in the midst of it in the fight, doing the damage from pretty much straight in front of his opponents. To be able to play like that and get away with it, just another thing you face when you're up against EL.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so hard. I do not envy the TCZ guys in this situation. It must be very hard for them. But
a daunting prospect.
Yeah, exactly. I think though the Madhouse, look, he just needs to keep his team together.
Yeah.
Needs to focus a little bit more on taking a look at what went well for them in some of these scenarios. So why don't we take a look?
You beat me to it, Alex. You beat me to it. All right. Yeah, we just saw Black and Co just taking out the WOT_3 there in the middle. He had really no hope for this world. Great shots coming out. Are we going to see the grill fight? Not going to happen.
No, not going to happen. But yeah, Roby-1 Kenobi at the end there, just not quite working out for TCZ. And I think FoxTS up the top in his grill. And FoxTS has been playing very well in these first two games.
The style that he's playing as well. He's right in the midst of the fight.
And look at that. We don't see this in, like, it was a 5-1 last game, but I don't think we ever saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. 7 being the tier 8 tank on the damage scoreboard. On Himmelsdorf, which is a map that TCZ, they don't mind him playing on Himmelsdorf. In Season 1 they did win a few on Himmelsdorf, so crazy to think that be this far apart. And look at that.
And they got 8th as well. I feel like we need to start the hashtag #ThingsEL does and just put these outrageous claims in there and see if they actually come true.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that is crazy.
Got to have some fun with it. I'm sure TCZ, hopefully they're keeping their morale high and boosted, because that's only map number 1. There still are a potential of maximum 3 rounds to go. Should EL decide to slip up any time here in Coalition Zoo, maybe try something new, because I did like their adaptation coming into this map. Unfortunately, it doesn't. Again, it's one of those things where we know that Coalition Zoo, they love to run those triple E100s, maybe even 2 at times, and it has worked out for them in the past. So when they do try to throw a curveball and try something new and it doesn't work, I don't want them to get discouraged. I want them to go back, see what's wrong, and then fix it up and fine-tune it.
Exactly. That's 100% right. So I really like the kind of idea of the T95s. I think, you know, EL right there, they've almost done them a favor in exposing a little bit of a weakness to it. And I think that's one of the good things about playing against EL is that, you know, when you're a team like TCZ, you can really study what EL did, how EL broke your strategy. So they are the perfect team, EL Gaming, to try out new strategies on.
Oh, definitely.
Because of that, and also because your normal strategies probably won't work.
That's exactly right. It's one of those things where, like you said, they're trying out something new. There was an obvious exploit. They didn't have a person watching Pac-Manius's back to make sure that he can't just get rushed. And now that's something that next time they do a similar strategy, they can tighten it up a little bit, make sure that that doesn't happen again. And all it takes is EL to exploit that one time, and now it's fixed for the rest of the tanking crew, I hope.
Yeah, well, hopefully, there we go. So I think that EL here, they've got to be pretty happy coming out of that one and, well, setting their sights a little bit more forward to some of the other games that we've got coming up in this match here, this series. Maybe already setting their sights to a 5-0, but I'm still hoping that TCZ here, they can really pull something back. I think that it's still definitely within the realms of possibility. I would actually love to see them just get a map on the board, get a half on the board to just boost their morale a little bit, show them that they can do it up here against EL. It could be the next one, who knows?
Well, they've got their core roster on, so they do have the potential and know how to get through these tough situations, because that's one of the things, when you don't have your core roster on, things start to go wrong, looking down in the dumps. You need that kind of strong commanding voice to go, all right, guys, we took a rough one, but let's go into this fresh, revitalized, get a nice cold drink of water on a hot day like today, and let me tell you, it's a stinker, and come back into the next thing completely revitalized and with the vigor to take out EL Gaming.
Yep, that's right. But now EL Gaming, their focus is going to be on the Mines, as is TCZ's. That's the map that we've got coming up next. Of course, Mines, map where you want to focus a lot of attention on the center hill, as many teams do. It offers so much map control, so much vision if you can get your tanks up on there early on, and that's why we're going to be seeing lots of bat chats like this. Oh, I like that from TCZ. They've got an M40, right?
Interesting choice here, and this for me is probably my favorite map to watch EL Gaming play, because just the speed that they can play it at, whilst also keeping themselves safe and exploiting. They seeming to know where the tanks are going to be before they're there. So it's like, oh, they're going to have one tank here, so they send 2 there. And it's like, how could you have known? There could have been a trap just waiting for you, and they pick someone off. So it's always great to watch EL Gaming play.
Yeah, that's definitely EL for you. And I think this time it will be interesting to see how fast EL Gaming play it, whether they do the slow kind of idea or whether they just push, because TCZ have a lineup which I think wants a bit more of a slower game. You know, they want to be able to set up the E100. They want to be able to set up the artillery.
Oh, Nomad, though, he's already getting destroyed down to about a third of health, and this is one of those things. How do they know who's going to be there? They send the members there, and it's seamlessly, they're already looking at the exact spot, and Nomad, he's barely even out of his side of the map, and he's already taken out a 600 health.
Yeah, they're just like, no, don't play World of Tanks. Back to your rock, back to your spawn. Exit the game.
Look, he's wishing that this was a regenning health game.
Yeah.
Not tanks anymore, where he's like, oh, well, I guess I'm one shot for the rest of the game here.
Needs his crew to get out and get the gaffer tape.
They're going to have to hitchhike back to base and find themselves a new tank, because it's seen better days, let me tell you. But let's hope they are able to get a few shots off with Lion and Roby 1 to kind of even up that HP pool here.
Yeah, hopefully. So right now,
Nomad, he's...
look at Hardliner. We're even, like, Hardliner right now, he's just boosted himself up that little hill there naturally. You see, that's where EL should be. I mean, that's where TCZ should be punishing them. You know, TCZ, they have the grill. You know, the grill can shoot. Like, is designed to kind of punish those guys on the hill that are poking up a little bit far. The grill is the most accurate tank in the game, so even if a millimeter of your tank is poking out of the hill, that's what the grill's there to do, to punish it. And when they don't do that, TCZ, they're really kicking themselves in the foot.
Oh, and look at this. Blackie's found an angle, but nice. Takes a huge one to the chest. He goes down to about 300, but Pac-Manius taking a return shot off that. Great stuff here from the Coalition Zoo to kind of even things up. You can see Black on the top of the mountain. They're just trying to angle out Nomad, give him absolutely no breathing room. You can see the lasers just focused, fixated even on where he could possibly be springing out next. Pac-Manius takes a shot on the side, and Nomad, you're not long for this world, and there he goes. Principal on the Kranwagen finds him, takes him out, and that's Coalition Zoo down a tank already, and the push coming well and truly in effect from EL Gaming. Yeah,
look at this EL Gaming. I think they've started to pull the trigger right here. Guanren and Hardliner, they're going to be able to easily take down Pac-Manius. And just like that, TCZ, they are now 3 tanks down. This is a massive uphill climb if they want to come back into this one. EL barely scratched.
Look, this is why I think it may be their best map watching EL Gaming play. They play it like no one else, constantly putting the pressure on, and they didn't even need to pressure anyone else on the team. All they had to do was force Nomad to move in and out, and then they just used that pressure to exert other spots on the map where Coalition Zoo are trying to get into position to counteract that, to save Nomad. And what happens? They lose 3 tanks straight off the bat.
Crazy, absolutely crazy there from EL Gaming. And look, that T110E5, he's not long for this world
quiet as well.
Yep, and I mean, Black here should be able to finish this off with the next shot. I think that one did maybe ricochet or might have hit. Either way, it's not looking good for the Coalition Zoo, and I don't even think they're going to be able to take down 1 tank at the end of this one, because, you know, Nice is still in full HP. Black's getting a little bit damaged there, but at the end of the day, now TCZ just way too spread out with their remaining tanks. We haven't seen Lion have much of an impact at all in that artillery piece this game.
Yeah. Madhouse in that E100 barely even got across. He got quite far actually, but didn't do too much, and he's just going to be getting shot from left, right, and center as he goes down, quite picking that one up. And now Lion forced to watch in a nice top-down view as the team come to take him out. Black one shot is all he needs to finish off poor Lion, and Coalition Zoo fall once again. Mine's just, it's too strong for EL Gaming.
Way too strong for EL, unfortunately, and unfortunately for TCZ, that is. Fortunately for EL Gaming, but yeah, like the slow setup against EL Gaming, that's what they punish so well. You know, they know how to play against it. We saw Nomad, he poked out. It's like, oh, okay, you know, there's 2 EL tanks, 3 EL tanks already with their guns focused in on the exact rock that he'd poke out from, because it's EL. They just got into the perfect spots early on, and all the meantime, Madhouse was lumbering around in his E100. You know, the Artie was still sort of getting set up at that point, and just bam, it hit them like that. And I think from that moment on, TCZ was shaken.
It's just one of those things where when you find yourself in that much of a deficit, you can't just sit around and wait for Nomad to die. You got to coordinate a push somewhere on the map. You know where a few of the EL members are, because they're shooting shots at your poor man Nomad sitting behind a rock here. And if they're just going to kind of wait for him to die, you've already conceded the round. And you saw the second that he goes down, EL, they charge up through the water along the beach, taking out a few expensive docks in their path. They don't give a damn about the scenery, and then taking out Pac-Manius in the back, and it looked like he had no idea. He wasn't even watching that side of the map.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, they push so fast that Grill 15 that we would normally see have such an impact from there, you know, it didn't for whatever reason. And TCZ there, I'm sure we will see it reflected on the post-damage stats. But you know, that Grill, it needed to be doing more work, you know, punishing those EL Gaming players, and whether that was just a case of TCZ not getting into position fast enough, or you know, just EL Gaming moving too fast for it. Who knows? But I guess we'll see on the replays.
Oh, it's going to be a quick one. Let me tell you about that. I want to see just how they fixated on Nomad. Oh, he's already dead by this stage, and as you can see, Quiet just dominating. Guanren, nice. Making Joke look like a joke in this position. Yeah. Where he could really hide, and pretty much after that,
After
they could
that,
do.
yeah, exactly. There was nothing else they could do. So, taking a look at the post-damage stats there, at least Madhouse got 2 shots off in the E100.
Not
But
bad.
again, 1, 2,
I
3,
f-
4,
I
6,
feel
7.
like that was just when they were standing in front of him, lining him up
probably.
to die. So
Yep, they just took the shots exactly. So that is so rough there for TCZ. And I mean, how do you think you stay in this one in terms of morale?
it's rough. It really is, because already you have the gargantuan task of taking on EL Gaming, which you know in your heart isn't going to happen. But you got to keep yourself motivated. You can't show signs of weakness. If you're coming into the fight an already defeated man, then what's the point? So, coming into the next half, they have to think, all right, where do they how are they going to play? We've seen EL in the past. We just got to count. I don't know. I honestly
We
don't
got
know
to
how-
deal more than 0 damage in our
There you go,
bat chats,
boom.
and in our grill, and in our M40. We got to do more than 300, and the T110E5, and the bat chat.
The numbers
Like,
don't lie, Alex.
The numbers don't lie. Honestly,
Shots fired. They're missing that EL accuracy.
they are missing that EL accuracy. You know what I think they need to do? They just need to pick tanks which always deal damage. So I think they should go with 6 FV4005s.
You called it here. If we see that, it will be an interesting game. Let me tell you that one.
I don't know. They
I was
need
gonna
to
say
change something
I was
up.
gonna say stranger things have happened, but I don't think they have.
Probably
Not on the broadcast, anyway.
Yeah, I remember the last time I saw a team in competitive World of Tanks pick, it was actually 7 tank destroyers in a battle, was 4.5 years ago at in like 2012
How'd
or
it go
something
for
like
them?
that. They lost.
Oh,
So
well, what a surprise!
that was back in the 749 format, so they weren't even picking tier 10s back then. But look, I don't know. Anyways, TCZ, they need to try something completely out there, I feel, and I'm not too sure what it is, but on this next half in Mines, whether they just try for a rush, maybe. And
Like we focus on what they can do to keep the morale up, but they need to do so much more than morale, because unfortunately that's not all they need to get themselves over the line. And if they can't take away if they can take anything away from today, it's okay. Where are the holes in our strategy? What can we do to plug them up? Where are the chinks in the armor? Let's get back in. Let's watch the replays. Let's get our EL's POVs. Let's have a look at how they're playing this, how they're exploiting us, and just fix it up, because that seems to be the real focal point that they need to take away from tonight.
Yeah, I think so. So, well, hopefully in this next half, it will be a little bit closer here between EL Gaming and Team Coalition Zoo. But guys, if you think something crazy might happen here, why don't you let us know? Plus, we're always listening on Twitter and Twitch chat, wherever you want. Just join us with the hashtag WGL APAC, and always read the tweets, give you the retweets, the likes, all of that fun stuff, Rogie.
Look, and that's what it's all about, getting involved on the broadcast, because as much fun as it is getting up here and talking, it's a lot more fun interacting with the community. That's why Twitch chat and Twitter are such great platforms and avenues for interaction.
Yep, that is for sure. So as well as that, guys, you know, we've got a lot of other fantastic content that you can check out on youtube.com/WGAsiaCG. But speaking of fantastic content, I think EL Gaming are about to give us another lesson in tanking here, Rogie. If that last half was anything to show us there on mine. So, I mean, EL, if they do maybe want to change it up a little bit. Maybe this is an opportunity for them to show us like a new strat, something that's not just bog standard. But the thing with EL that we've come to know from, you know, watching them in training rooms, watching them play, talking to them so much, is that they will take every single game they'll play every single game like it's a grand final.
Yeah.
You know, like they go into every game super serious, you know, picking the best possible lineup that they can. And I think that's why we see them, you know, go through the entirety of last season without losing a game. And you know, just stomp that hard.
Well, that's one of the great things about watching EL. It's not just you come into the games and you think, okay, Coalition Zoo, they're not going to be in it with much of a shot. But watching how well EL can play tanks is just such a beautiful thing to see as well.
Yeah, there we go. Well, speaking of EL doing some interesting things, we have got a mouse coming out here. Now, this is more like it. And assuming that, EL have picked that one, and the Scorpion G, of course, that Tier 8 premium German tank destroyer, and the Kranwagen, which EL do play quite well. That's what I'm liking to see. EL changing it up a little bit. This could be an opportunity for TCZ to maybe, you know, exploit that, but We've seen Mouses work in the past on mines when B Gaming have picked them. The Scorpion G, it's a tier 8, but it can deal a lot of damage. Let's see how it goes.
Initial shots coming off from the Coalition Zoo. A few going on to Black as he takes not too much of a beating as he tries to traverse himself. Bit of a mountain goat in his heart.
He got up there so fast and so calmly. Like, there's an entire TCZ team shooting at him. He just managed to, just do a little bit of a boost there. And oh, Roby.
Yeah, he's been caught out here. Guan Ren and Quiet. What can we say? It's just one of those things. They send the correct members to the correct spots and completely catch Coalition Zoo with their pants down. Roby now forced to be a spectator in his own game. Pac-Manius and Nomad. Nomad, he's having flashbacks from the first round.
Oh, no.
He's just getting caught out completely.
Like, what's happening? He's not even turning his turret. He didn't have time to turn his turret. So EL Gaming right here already off to a start, which might put them... Well, it's got to be said, out of reach of the Coalition Zoo after this one. The HP difference is over 3,000 hit points right now, Rogi.
Yeah, they got that mouse that's boosting them up significantly as well. But if you ever wanted to listen to what calm, cool, and collected sounds like, wait no further because we're going to listen in with EL Gaming.
打住扛啊，现在扛。
后面开了2发了，明牌了。
我上了。
没吸到 TVP 的弹，我没吸到。
我直接定 TVP。他死了，我满弹，我抓那个柴轮那个，都杀完了。
还有2发弹，他开了我3发弹。
160，我这。
他还有1发弹，少爷。
那个车不需要我管了。
And just like we said, EL Gaming can see very concise communications, no chatter, needless chatter on the comms, just calling out who is where and which tanks to fire on them. Lion, once again, last player left alive, and 7 tanks still up for EL, dominating fashion on mines. Dominating fashion.
Whenever there's 7 tanks left, it is a perfect game. That's what I call a perfect game. So EL, again, with a perfect game there against TCZ on mines. Changing it up a bit, they picked a mouse, you know, they picked the Scorpion G, which obviously worked out really well. Like,
I feel like everything they pick will just work out really well, and I kind of want to go back to the original point is, people can look at those games and say, oh, it's a boring one-sided stomp, but the real excitement and enjoyment comes out from just seeing tanks played at such a high level, and the Coalition Zoo, they're no slouches, they're no pushovers, they can tumble with the best of them.
100%.
But being able to see EL just completely roll them over, it's so interesting to watch because essentially they're playing tanks near to perfection.
Yeah, that's right, I think. And, you know, if you've got your notepads out there, guys, make sure you're jotting down all of EL's strategies there. The little boost that we saw Guan Ren get in the bat chat early on, that was just wizardry.
How does he do it?
Like, complete wizardry. He's having the whole team shoot at him. So, okay, I'll just... Whoop, 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 whoop. Okay, perfectly
Let's get
safe.
up here, completely
like,
just shut down Nomad on the side.
Yeah, like, so how are you perfectly safe having taken 300 damage on mines after pushing up head first in a bat chat against an entire team?
And then get a few kills to boot.
Crazy.
Catch people out of guard. It's just one of the... It's the EL magic now. It's coming in. It's going further. It's not EL accuracy anymore. It's EL magic.
It is EL magic.
They're channeling themselves, that inner dragon.
Yeah.
To just scare their opponents down. The intimidation tactics coming in here.
Absolutely. The Inner Dragon like their logo very much so, I think. But look, it's 4-0 here now, Rogi. And after that last one, honestly, TCZ, like, it wasn't really a case of them not doing so much wrong. It's just there was just nothing for them to do. And I'm sure we'll see that in the replays here when, you know, EL just completely walk all over them right from the start. Look, this is where Black should have been punished a lot more. 1 shot missed, 1 shot hit the tracks, 3 shots missed, 4 shots missed. That's TCZ mistakes. And Black just does a perfect boost like that. Like,
and from then on out, they got the kill onto Roby, they get the kill onto Nomad, and it was pretty much over from then on out. Not dropping a single member. Madhouse back on that E100, really struggling to find anything to do on the map.
Yeah, there we go, and just getting absolutely torn apart there. And Principal in that Kranwagen up the top of the damage stats there with just about 3,000 damage, and even nice in the mouse. Luckily for TCZ, they have improved, Rogi, because...
Yeah, they got 2 members on that top 7.
Exactly.
I'm happy. They're doing it. It's baby steps at this stage, Alex. Gradual improvement, noticeable improvement in one series alone. Now that's something to pat yourself on the back for.
Exactly. I feel like we're clutching a little bit at the back pat straws here, but I mean, I think they've got to take anything that they can get at this point on TCZ's side. And look, even Fox DS in that Scorpion G, just about 1,000 damage, pretty respectable number there, I think. And you know, we saw that in that replay earlier that lots of those shots missed from TCZ when Granren was kind of coming up the hill. And we've had a look at the stats from just all of the individual players and the teams from last week. And one of the things which is really stand out is how much higher of an accuracy of a hit percentage EL Gaming has than any other team in the league. It is insanely high. I think it's something around like 80%.
It's insane.
Like, and I think comparing it up against TCZ's, which is something around the 40% mark, you know, it's like you can really see in those scenarios that we just saw there with Granren, you know, dodging all of those shots.
Yeah.
Like, that's why, you know, if you don't hit the shots, you don't deal the damage. Don't deal the damage, don't kill the tanks.
Yeah, like let's flip the tables there and say someone from Coalition Zoo tried to do that against EL Gaming. There's no doubt he would have been punished and just left a smoldering ruin.
Exactly. Yep. No doubt about it. And yeah,
look, when you're boasting 80% hit accuracy, that's an impressive statistic.
Oh, it's absolutely crazy. And, you know, I think it's just a case of EL. Look, they do normally play bat chats and other auto loaders, so they don't want to miss their shots, and they don't. It's why they have such a higher win rate than all of these other teams. They're such higher on a mechanical level. So yeah, but for now, I think it is time to see if, honestly, at this point, to see if TCZ can like make a game close, not even win it, just make a game close against EL here in this next game and the next map that we have lined up for everyone.
Well, I'm sure all the Coalition fans at home are expecting or hoping for just that, but EL Gaming, I'm sure they've got quite the fan base of their own who are just cheering on the slaughter and are waiting to see who bows down next to EL Gaming as they do seamlessly another undefeated run through the WGL APAC Season 2.
Yes, well, next up, of course, guys, it is going to be Ghost Town, which...
Great map.
It is a great map. Unfortunately for TCZ, it is EL Gaming's pick. So, yeah, not great. I honestly, on Prokhorovka, I would have felt that TCZ could have, you know, had a little bit more of a chance. Exactly, pulled something out, used the S-Tank. But here on Ghost Town, it is quite similar in Hibbelsdorf in the way that, you know, you've got these close quarter city streets and lots of brawling, lots of heavy tanks can be picked here. I think if TCZ do something like fall back to E100s here, then it really is going to be curtains for them.
Hopefully for them, they keep their motivation high. They keep the, not even the stat, that's the will to learn. Oh, maybe not. They're falling back to the E100s. Alex, you called it before we saw it, mate.
Ah, there we go. Okay, TCZ going back to Old Faithful, as it were. So far, well, there hasn't been much of a reason to have faith in that one because the E100s haven't done them too well this season. But EL Gaming, we can take a look at their lineup, going with the WZ111s, which we're seeing more and more this season.
Oh, definitely. It was. I remember a few times back in the Season 1, people in production were in question, have we seen this tank before? Quite a lot, because it was very scarce, but pretty much we've been seeing it crop up more and more.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a good tank, you know, Tier 9, of course, that Chinese heavy tank. And it's got a very, very solid gun on it, can trade extremely well. 130 millimeters rather, got a good amount of penetration on it. Good alpha damage, so great for these kind of brawly maps like Ghost Town. But speaking of Ghost Town, we are going to be seeing EL Gaming.
They're going fast.
Going very fast.
Yeah, they're just getting straight in. This is one of the things I notice EL do a lot more than other teams, is they don't dilly-dally around trying to bait out a few caps here and there. When they've got their sights set on one, they make their intentions known, and they'll just outshoot you.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. It's all going to be onto Joke and Nomad to get into position in time to make something happen.
Yeah, there we go. And Mr. Joke there, we can see he's got a pretty solid average damage amount so far, but hasn't been able to close out many kills this season.
Definitely one of the bigger, more heavy hitters on the squad here, but you can see already in the base, EL Gaming straight off the bat, they have 3 tanks in there, and they're just trading damage so fast, and Quick Pac-Manias and WOT already down to about a half. Pac-Manias just can't do too much. He's been tracked here. out in the open. Can EL capitalize and take him out? Doesn't look like it just yet.
Oh yeah, and we can see Madhouse here madly trying to get resets, and
Whoop.
he's just missed Guan Ren there.
Instant transmission technique. One Ren using it perfectly.
Yeah, and with that miss, EL 4 seconds left until they actually get the cap here. We need this reset to come in.
Oh,
It's
it
missed.
went
It's
over his
missed.
head!
Oh.
It gave him a haircut, but that's
Too
all it
late.
needed. That was an anticlimactic end to the game, but in spectacular EL fashion, they just say, we want this hill, and Coalition's will, it's yours, mate. You take that one. That's on the house.
Pure capitulation by TCC in that one. EL are just like, alrighty, we're going to drive onto the cap in less than 2 minutes. Alrighty, game over, 5-0. Next game.
It finished as quick as it started. Essentially, I feel like I don't know what to say about that game. There's not much. There's no content there.
Yeah,
It's just EL. No team, no matter how good you are, should be able to get away with that. That's just a pure blunder.
We've seen those sorts of fast caps before, but
Yeah.
like not like that. I don't know. EL Gaming, they just did that one so fast. Team Coalition Zoo, they had tanks around the flag. I'm sure they knew they needed to push in and get it.
Shots were missed so narrow. We got that first person. You could see the shells just darting over,
close.
trimming the hair.
And that's the thing. Like those shells, if like it was just a little bit of RNG, a little bit of kind of better RNG would have meant that those HE shells that the RU-251 was firing, yeah, would have got the reset. But at the end of the day, you know, what you need to allocate is an actual close-up tank to get those guaranteed resets on Ghost Town there. You know, someone to sit along that little street there and be ready, and AMX50B to push in. And EL, to be fair, they were ready for it.
Well, I actually want to see, because we got the post-game stats ready, if any tanks actually went down, or was that a pacifism mode?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was a pacifism game.
Might have been.
No kills across the board. If the top 7 players don't have a kill, I guarantee you the bottom 7 won't.
That's a culture victory for those that play here. But
the tourism bonus is too high.
Oh yeah, there you go. So nice up the top there. Well, did a little bit.
Yep.
0 damage across 8 to 14. Oh, they tried a little bit. But
Yeah, and look at the damage dealt. No damage dealt on the bottom portion of the screen there. Like, that tells the tale of the game.
yeah, exactly. It completely tells the tale. And I mean, Principal Guanren, Black and Hardliner, they probably didn't even need to be in the game. Like in that one, EL could have just been like, oh yeah, okay, we'll just send these like 4 tanks or so that we sent over to the flag, 2 get in, 2 kind of harass. All right, there you go, GG, 5-0.
It was a very GG 5-0, but unfortunately for myself and yourself, actually, we lose out on the prediction game. Jordan takes that one, being a bit of a cynic there, allows him.
I think he jinxed it. I'm going to have a word to him.
Oh, well.
Yeah, not right. Anyways, TCZ, look, if they go into Prokhorov, Grofiel, maybe there would have been a glimmer of hope.
Sure.
But not today.
No, it's unfortunate because all those maps are just lined up perfectly for EL Gaming. We've seen them put out amazing results time and time again. Was it Himmelsdorf, Mines, and Ghost Town just seem to be, they're so well versed, and the last maps that I would have picked to have to play against EL on.
Yep, exactly. Very, very tricky to play against EL when they're on those, you know, just comfort picks of maps. You know, they're so good on Himmels, they're so good on Mines now. I know that last season Mines was one of their shaky maps, but they've obviously really developed it over this kind of holiday break period, over the New Year period, and they've really knuckled down and said, okay, well, you know, where we bad at it, where can we improve on Mines, and they've done exactly that, because now they look just stronger than any other team in the league by far.
By absolute strides at this stage. But we kind of, the topic of this game, the storyline rather, was what can Coalition Zoo take away from these games in order to improve themselves? And on that last map, I don't know if there was a lot that they can really self-reflect here and think, all right, this is an obvious hole in our net.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's take a look at the post-match stats to see if anyone on TCZ really held much of a candle. And look, Madhouse, there you go. He's always a very solid tanker, and he's got to be pretty happy with that. Average of 1,500 damage, 7,500 total damage. And overall, this has been a very low damaging series because of, like, just the fact that, yeah, it's so quick. Madhouse hasn't, well, so TCZ hasn't really dealt that much damage to EL Gaming because they haven't killed many tanks.
But no,
Yeah.
Guan Ren's accuracy this series was impeccable. Just time
Yeah.
and time again, hitting those clutch shots, winning out on every single trade that he went into. It's just impressive stuff. And you can see on the second...
Oh, that is so rough.
Yep, that's painful. Lion
Lion.
averaging at...
Like that's like in 5 games of a series, he dealt damage in 1 game of like a normal series, 1600 damage. Like, oh, that is so rough. And 23 shots as well.
We really pinpointed that Lion has to be the one to go off for the Coalition